in today's debate. My mum and dad came to London from Ireland in the 1950s, moving into a rented flat in Tottenham, the place I came to know as home. I grew up surrounded by aunts, uncles and cousins who all played an important part in my life. My parents were proud to be Irish, and this was not the easiest of times to be Irish, but they also embraced life in Britain, working hard to provide for their family and creating a home. My dad had a minimum of 2 jobs, and my brother and I were instilled with a strong work ethic built on values of fairness, community and respect for others. I left school before completing my A-levels on the early and unexpected death of my dad. My brother and I also had to support our mum, who struggled with her mental health before taking her own life some years later. The deaths of our parents had the biggest impact on our lives. My lords, I joined the civil service at the most junior grade, and it is why I chose today's debate, and I commend the work of my good friend, the Deputy Prime Minister, and her team for the work and consultation put into this legislation. On joining the civil service, I was not on a mission to work my way to the top. This is probably best illustrated when I took a career break, which has been much commented upon. Put this way, although the civil service encourages its future leaders to get outside experience, running a pub in Newry, County Down in the late 80s was not on their list for outside placements. But a pub is a great place to get to understand communities, their needs, their worries and their aspirations. Throughout my career, I've learned to take the words of the late Joe Cox: we have more in common than that which divides us. On returning to the civil service, I did indeed start working my way up. Some of the issues I worked on included creating the propriety and ethics function, which included conducting 1 or 2 high-profile investigations, establishing public inquiries into Grenfell Tower and infected blood, where I wish to pay huge credit to the noble lady, the former Prime Minister, Baroness May of Maiden, for her steadfast commitment to ensuring the truth was told. Initiating the scheme to bring prison leavers into the civil service, where my path first crossed with the trailblazing Lord Timpson, who recognised the importance of giving people a second chance. The Boardroom Apprentice Scheme, to encourage people from all backgrounds to serve on the boards of public bodies, an important part of the reform agenda, and goes to the heart of the Opportunities mission. Here I wish to acknowledge the work of the noble Lord Maud of Horsham and the noble lady Baroness Finn, who provided the positive backdrop to allow these initiatives to be developed and flourished. Thank you. Between 2018 and 2021, I undertook the role of Permanent Secretary in the Northern Ireland Executive's Department of Finance. This was a very different experience for me and demonstrates again the range of opportunities that exist in the civil service. The return of the Executive brought its own challenges of working in a mandatory 5-party coalition, which made the 2010 coalition seem remarkably straightforward. Returning to Whitehall in 2021 allowed me to put into practice the benefits of closer and collaborative working with devolved governments and mayors. Devolved government is an important and integral part of the architecture of this country, and the noble lady, Lady Foster, will understand, will be a big part of Northern Ireland in that. I will continue to be a strong advocate for it from my position in your Lordship's House. A number of the senior officials I had the privilege of working with are now members here, and I wish to say a personal thank you for their support. I also want to remember 3 important people in my career who are sadly no longer with us: Baroness Jowl, Lord Prescott and Lord Hayward, exemplars of the very best of public service. I would also like to thank those who guided me in the challenging last few years of my career in and around Downing Street, whether working in it or investigating it. This includes Dave Penman and the FDA team, and I'm not sure what it is about the mention of my time in Downing Street that brings me to the issue of job security and employment. But more seriously, I want to return to my first set of jobs in what was the Department for Social Security, working in employment support, as I think it is highly relevant to today's debate and to the future of our civil service. Back then, I worked with truly heroic and committed people, striving every day in very difficult circumstances to help people in even more challenging situations. They were the civil service at its best, on the front line, as far away from Whitehall's machinations as it's possible to be. Today, I see the same sort of brilliance. What these and other civil servants are doing is central to the government's and the nation's mission to bring back growth into our economy and security to our society. That is why I would caution all of us to be careful, not just about our decisions, but about our language. When we hear the phrases of blobs, pen pushers, axes, chainsaws, and other implements, they hear it too. Yeah. Difficult decisions are needed, of course, and the civil service will be keen to be part of any reform journey, but we need them and other public servants to succeed. I will continue to support a progressive civil service. I hope others will do the same. Thank you. Yeah.
Lord, I'm delighted to follow Lady Gray and to be able to congratulate her on her fascinating